Hello and welcome to Christy's Cropping and Creating. My name is Christy Bolin and I am a Creative Memories Advisor in South Carolina. I am going to use the 101 Sketchbook. Is that what it's called? Sketchbook. Scrapbooking Ideas and Sketches. I never can get some of the names right. I'm going to use that book. I'm going to use a design on page 93 that was a single page spread, and I'm going to turn it into a double page spread. I'm also going to do something that's going to help me with some of my backlog of photos that have not yet been scrapbooked. How many of you have kids that did a Happy Birthday Jesus party, whether it was at preschool or Sunday school at church or something like that? Happy Birthday Jesus. We did a lot of those parties when my kids were younger. So I'm going to use our Christmas Cheer collection, and I'm going to use that design on page 93 from 101 Scrapbooking Ideas and Sketches to take a single page, turn it into a double page. I did not look to see if either of the punches that I'm going to use today are still available. But if you need any kind of supplies or if you have any kind of questions, please feel free to reach out to me. My email address, I'm going to say it and then I'll spell it. It's christybolin@gmail.com. And my name is spelled KRISTIBOLIN@gmail.com. You can also shop from my website if you are not already connected with a Creative Memories Advisor. I would be more than happy to help you. And my website is creativememories.com/user/Christy Bolin. And again, that's KRISTIBOLIN. There are a lot of great clearance things available right now. So make sure when you go to the website, you check out the deals page, because lots of things are being cleared off the shelves at some really great prices. Okay, I'm going to switch the camera down to my desktop and we're going to dive in, and hopefully I can make everything go smoothly. So this is the design that we're going to use. And again, we're going to turn it into a double page spread. I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to do the title. I'm going to keep everything the same on the 2 pages, with the exception of my title is going to span both pages. So I'm using the beautiful gifts punch. A lot of people have this punch. A lot of people want this punch. Again, I'm not 100% sure that it's available right now, but I'm going to use it. And the balloons and stars punch that came out in August of this year. So the design has, or the sample has, the same punch used twice in the 2 different places, but I'm going to go ahead and switch it up a little bit. I'm also going to use some of our Red Collegiate ABC stickers, and to help with my title, I'm going to use these papers from the Christmas Cheer Designer Paper Pack and Christmas Cheer Accessory Paper Pack. And hopefully I have enough papers to choose from to make all the different colors. I will also use cardstock to make my photo mats. And what happened to my variety mats? And I chose some variety mats ahead of time. I'm only going to need 2 of these, but I pulled out, I believe, 6 different choices. Oh, 7 different choices. Maybe it's 8. I think it's 7. Yeah, so because I wasn't sure which color cardstock I was going to use, and therefore I didn't know which variety mat I was going to use to help make this box right here. So let's dive in, and I'm going to need my 12-inch trimmer, but I will also need my decorative trimmer so we can make that fun wavy place up here. All right, let me clear some space so that we can go ahead and get started. So my base page on this sample, it's like a purple polka dotted background. And I am going to use this plaid. I know it's really busy and dark. It's got a lot of great Christmas colors in it, and it looks like the lighting is making it shine and stuff, but it's, you know, it's a red, green, and navy plaid, and the bottom paper needs to be 12 inches wide and 7.5 inches tall. So I will need 2 of these sheets to make both sides since I'm doing it a double. So I'm going to cut both of them at the same time. I'm going to stack them together. I'm going to cut them at 7.5. Oops, I almost cut it at 7. And the more prominent red line, this red line that's going vertically right now, it's actually going to be going horizontally on my page, but that's the way I'm choosing to cut it. So just make sure if you do have a directional paper that you pay attention to how you want your design to go before you cut. So I'm going to put these to the side. They will be the bottom of both of my pages. And I'm going to use this paper that has a lot of words on it for part of the top of my design. In the sample, it's where you see this yellow. So it will be the base behind my 2 punched parts, my border maker, not border maker, but border punches. And they don't have it showing up there, and I think that's because they allowed for, in the measurements, they allowed for a separate piece to be up there and then here. But either way, I'm just going to go ahead and cut what should be the measurements. And again, since I'm going to have it going horizontally across the page, I do need to pay attention to make sure the words do kind of go all around on this word paper, but I want it to look mainly like it's the right side up as it goes across. So I'm going to turn this sideways, and 7.5 plus 4.5 would be 12. I hope I'm adding that correctly. So I'm going to make 2 4.5-inch cuts on this 12 by 12 piece of paper. Before I make the second one, let me make sure that is right. It's always a little hard when you don't do a sample ahead of time to know that you're doing the right thing. But who am I kidding? Even if I do it ahead of time, sometimes I still have a hard time remembering what I'm supposed to do next or whatever. So there's my second one at 4.5. And I did not pull cardstock ahead of time to make me a welding strip. So let me see. I can pull a piece real quick. Yes. All right. So this is not going to be seen. It is probably canary cardstock, and I'm just going to cut it at 3/4 of an inch for it to be my welding strip to help me stick my bottom and my top piece of paper together. So you can use any kind of scrap paper. This just happened to be sitting here, and that's what I'm going to use to put my top and my bottom of those 2 things together. And this may mean that we have to pull the trimmer in and out, but I'm going to go ahead and get my bottoms and tops to put them together. And this is how I mean they're going to sit together. And I'll use this welding strip along the back, and so nobody will ever even know that that it's back there. So let me flip these over. Sometimes it's hard to get my paper off of the mat. This is no exception. It's wonderful if you can use your 13-inch mat when you're doing these kinds of things, because it helps you with making sure everything is straight and lining up properly. So it's nice to have 2 of the gray 13-inch mats, but if you only have room or if you only have the finances for 1, that's okay. Just still know that it's helpful to do it by putting your papers on the mat in the right place as you stick them together. So I'm just centering this over that seam. I should have used regular tape runner instead of repositionable, but because I use repositionable so much, that's what I automatically grabbed. Now the great thing, I do see that my yellow strip went crooked, and if it's really that important to me to make it straight, I can easily move it because I used repo adhesive. So you choose which one you want to use. The repositionable is still it is still a permanent adhesive, and it is strong. It's just not as immediately as strong as the other. Oh my goodness, I cannot get this to stay straight. Okay, so let me I'm using my silicone mat over to the side. I wasn't watching the screen to see if I was staying on camera or not, but if I do go off, it's probably because I'm using my silicone mat to make sure I don't get gunk on my good custom cutting system mat, 13-inch mat. Okay, so now you can see that I have them together, and this is what it's going to look like. I've just got more stuff to put at the top. All right, so the next part we're going to do is cut these the wavy background papers that our borders are going to go on top of. So there's one here and there's one here, and they even outlined that one with another strip too, but they don't give you those measurements up here, so I may not actually outline mine. But what I do need to decide is which of these papers I want to use for the balloons and stars, which I want to use for the presents, and then what am I going to use for the background of the top border, this one right here. So I have this to choose from, and on the back it's a really nice, it's got a lot of colors. I don't think the camera is going to focus on it really well, but it has golds, greens, reds. So that would be a nice tonal background. This is a very fun paper, but honestly, I thought I might do the balloons and stars or the presents out of it. I've got the green plaid, and then on the back is the red plaid. This is a different red plaid. And what's on the back of the gold ornaments? This would be a good background. And this is like a tonal snowflake. Excuse me, Christmas star, not snowflake. I always want to say snowflake. So I love these ornaments as well. And that would be good for one of my punched pieces or for the background. What I think I'm gonna do is go with the gold for the very top, and then from there I think I'll do the one of the punched out of the candy cane and one of the punched out of one of either this red plaid or this green plaid, or maybe both. So I'll set these to the side, and then I'll use this for the background that goes behind one of those punches, hopefully. I don't know. We'll see. We're gonna figure it out as we go, right? Um, so now I need my decorative trimmer. And because this top edge is completely straight, I don't have to make a cut to make the side wavy and then make another cut to make it wavy. I just need to cut my first piece and then I'll turn my paper around to the other straight side and cut it. So this is going to need to be 1 inch wide. It says 12 by 1. And we're going to be cutting in this track. And there is a 1 inch measurement. Let's see if I can get it to focus. There is a 1 inch measurement there. And that's what I'm going to measure my paper over to. It may end up being a little bit different than what this what this sketch calls for, but that's where I'm going to choose to do it because I think it's going to be close to 1 inch. And also you can see that I'm starting my cut from not being completely even up here. I'm going down 1 block, and that is so that these waves will be even across my 12-inch strip. Now, if you have any questions about what I just said, I've gone over that in some previous videos, and I know that some other advisors have covered it with their different videos as well. So hopefully it made sense, but if it didn't, don't hesitate to reach out to me to ask questions or go look in my YouTube archive to see what some other ways that I've explained it before, and hopefully that will help you. But don't hesitate to email me if you need to email me as well. Okay, I'm gonna go cut this one, and then I'm gonna see if I need any more from this. Hopefully this is gonna look right. They're gonna be have the same amount of waves going from one to the next, and I think they do. Let me take a sip of my drink for 1 second. Okay. On the sample, you can see that it was like a white background, then like a light purple background, and then the yellow. This white background serves as where the yellow is. This gold serves where the white is up at the top. So the next thing I'm going to cut, and I'll be cutting it again with my decorative trimmer the same way, and it again says that it is 12 inches by 1 inch. And I'm going to cut with this, since it's got a lot of color, but it's also sort of still tonal. I know technically that's not tonal because it's kind of busy, but I think putting one of my punched pieces on top of this, I don't think it's going to be too much. If it is, I'll scratch it and start all over again. But I'm again going to put my paper at the 1 inch line, and I'm coming down 1 block from the top and 1 block from the bottom. Oh, wait a minute. This one is supposed to be curvy on both sides. So instead of starting there, I'm actually going to come and I'm going to make the thinnest cut possible so that I'm not wasting a lot of paper, but then my edge will be curvy on both sides of my finished piece. So let me take just a second to line that up. You'll see the little thing I have left over. I can put it in my scrap pile. Now I can slide my hump over to the 1 inch. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go where the straight part, the bottom of the hump, is at the 1 inch instead of the top of the hump, because I think that if it's a little bit wider, it's not going to hurt anything, and it actually might help since this is a fairly thin piece in the grand scheme of things. Right, so there's going to be for one side, and it should nestle into that gold one up above it fairly easily. And I can use the same piece of paper, go over to the 1 inch again with the bottom of the hump being at the 1. Cut another one for the right hand page. Now I think we're finished with the decorative trimmer because I'm not going to cut a background for it, mainly well, partially for time and partially for I don't know what which one. I could use one of the cardstocks over here, but I really don't want to take the time to do that right now. I think I want to go ahead and cut one of my 2 borders, and again I'm going to do the presents, and I'm going to do the, excuse me, it's called gifts border punch, and I'm going to do the balloons and stars. So I'm going to need 2 of each of those. Oh, I can't do that. I just made a mess. Give me just a second. Let me put this paper to the side. And after I punch these, if we see that I do need an outline, I'll come back to it at that point and fix it. Just trying to keep this video from being 800 million years long. All right, let's do the gifts with the plaid. And I'm start with the red side up, and if I need to switch it, I will switch it. So we're gonna need 2 of these, and I hope this will punch nice and clean. I hope I won't tear anything, and I'll be able to just move right along. Just quickly cut out 2. Jiggle jiggle to get it to come free if you need to. Now, I have not looked at my website today, but earlier as in yesterday, Tuesday and Wednesday, there were lots of punches and border punches that were in the clearance section. So if that's something that you like, make sure you go check it out. And I'm just gonna dump my trash cardboard here. And rather than pulling out my trimmer to trim this off and then starting again, we'll go cut from the other side, and then we'll pull the trimmer at the same moment. If you have watched any of my videos, you know that I am not one to edit. And part of that is because I haven't perfected editing. And part of it is because I'm usually doing this so last minute, and I want to hurry up and get it posted for you guys to watch. So please bear with me if you are watching and you don't want to watch me punch all of those pieces. Feel free to fast forward on your own. Okay, I'm going to cut those strips off, and I'm going to leave that base pretty thin. So basically, I'm going to be cutting 1/8 of an inch from the bottom of the gifts. And the 1/8 of an inch, or approximately an 1/8 of an inch, is where our other cut line is on our cutting mat for our 12-inch trimmer. Great. Let me put this to the side and this other piece of paper to the side. And let's see how things are looking before I proceed to the next step. So I think this one I'm going to want to put below the balloons and stars, partially because this one kind of has a straight, it's not curvy like the other pieces of this border are that we've cut out. And the balloons and stars are going to be curvy. So where's my book? Let me show you what I mean by all of this too. What do you call those things? Masquerade glasses? I can't remember what they're called. That's got a little bit of a curve to it. And of course the border is curvy. This balloons and stars will be a little bit curvy. So I think this one will be the better one to put along that part. Oh man, I really like what I'm seeing when I look in the big screen. So I hope that y'all are liking this too. I hope that it's not going to end up being too overpowering when I get it all going together. So I'm going to use this balloons and stars. I'm going to do the same thing, cut 2 borders, one to go on the left, one to go on the right. I do thank you for watching, and several of you have reached out to me and made comments, nice comments and things like that. I really do appreciate it. I am trying to grow my subscription base, and of course it is free to subscribe to my YouTube channel. So it doesn't cost anything. It's not like you have to pay for a magazine subscription. Okay, this is getting caught and just want it to come out. I don't want it to tear. Feel free to fast forward through this too. Ah, it's that balloon. There we go. Now I got it. When I hit 500 subscribers, I am going to do a drawing for prizes. I did it earlier when I reached a certain amount of subscribers, and I would love to give some prizes sooner than later. So please help me spread the word. Tell all your friends that are crafters, card makers, scrapbookers, whatever it might be, to join in the fun of my channel. Ooh, okay, now that is busy. That the balloons and stars are busy in and of themselves, and then you put it on that other paper, and then it's kind of, this is the back of this paper is like mostly white with kind of gold, Christmas gold dots. Don't think that's going to look right either. So now what? Now what do I do? What do I do? Let's see if I change my mind and put the presents up top and the very loud candy cane stripe balloons and stars below. It helps a little bit, but it doesn't help that much. So I am going to switch gears, and I'm going to do, I'm going to keep this because I can use it to help accent some things eventually, but I'm going to use some cardstock to cut my balloons and stars with, and I'm going to cut with red, and that'll still look good with that paper, and it'll still be, it should show up really well on that other background. I'm sorry that you're going to have to now watch me cut 3 of these instead of just 2. Excuse me. Yeah. I started to say, never mind, I said it wrong, but I said it right. 3, because I'll cut 2 out of cardstock, and then I did that 1 out of the designer paper that I'm just going to use it to accent my balloons and stars. And if you can see, I've got a few little pieces like right there under my finger where it's just kind of hanging. That's because I didn't do the greatest job at leveling things up or lining things up. So I'm just going to come in here with my scissors and just snip off that little tail. You probably can't see it because of the shadows or whatever with my lighting in this room. There are some overhead lights that no matter how I turn my setup, I have those shadows that we haven't quite been able to overcome yet. So bear with me on that too. Oh yeah, that's going to be much better. But now it looks like it doesn't match the the gifts paper, but it does. It's the gifts paper is a couple of shades of red. And so yes, this balloon and star is a brighter red, but it's not that it doesn't match at all. Cut those little tails off of this, and I'm going to cut my my last piece. Maybe after this we can start adhering things together. I think we can. Now on this particular video, I may not take the time to completely lay out my title. I was thinking that since it's a single page spread and it had the entire title on the one piece, I thought, well, what if I put happy on the left-hand page and then birthday going across the 2 pages, and Jesus would be on the right-hand side of the title block. So that's what I'm thinking I'm going to do. I just don't know 100% for sure, but we're about to start adhering things. Oh, and if I don't completely finish putting all the stickers down, because I don't want you to have to sit here and wait and wait and wait and watch, then you'll know that I'll still post a finished picture with this video. But if I don't get the letters on so that you don't have to sit and watch me place them all, then you'll know why I'm going to end it without completely finishing it. It's very common for me to not completely finish a page because I want to have my pictures printed to go on there, and I don't want to end up covering an embellishment later. So more often than not, I might talk about embellishment placement, but I don't always completely follow through with putting them on. So I'm just putting my adhesive on the backs of the pieces that I'm adhering, and I'm using it over here on my silicone mat so that I don't get it on my 13-inch mat. And then I'm coming back over to fill in where, in one way, I started to say I could leave a border right there just by leaving some space in between these two, but that other one was definitely a border made with different cardstock, because you could see that it was like dark green or something like that, and the rest of it was not dark green. Hopefully my tape runner is not going to run out, because it's feeling like it's getting close to running out, and I'm not sure that I have another one sitting here that's already loaded. I don't want you to have to wait on me to load my tape runner either. And when I stood up to place that, I'm not sure if my head got in the way, if the arms from my dress got in the way. Hopefully I'm not covering up what I'm working on. And sometimes it's funny because it's like, how can this go crooked when it's just going from one end of the page to the other? But sometimes it feels like it does, that's for sure. Now, the balloons and stars, I am going to place along that second layer. And since there's some holes in these balloons to give them dimension, I definitely have to do the adhesive over on my silicone mat because I don't want the adhesive to go through those little holes right there down onto my paper. There's that. And this one. I wish I would have paid attention to what time I got started with my recording because I don't know how long I have been working. There's no timer for me on my devices that tells me how long we've been going. Okay, so again, I've got all these holes in the gifts punch, and so I'm going to flip that. That makes me think maybe I could do green instead of the red, since I talked about the difference in the colors of the red. What should I do? What should I do? Well, one thing I can do is I can punch a third strip, and I won't do it on camera right now, but I could punch a third strip or even a fourth to make some of the gifts a different color. I'll probably go back and do that. And with knowing that I'm going to do that, I'm still going to put the red side up on the gifts. So I'm putting my adhesive on the back of the green. I don't know what that noise was my computer just made. It might be that I need to plug in. I bet that's exactly what it was. So after I adhere this one, let me plug up my computer so that the battery doesn't die. That would be not good. Okay, and put this adhesive on the back of this one. This the thin strip is on the gifts. It's kind of fragile, so be careful when you're putting your adhesive on your gifts so that you don't rip them apart or anything. And then also, this is another great example of why having two mats so that you can make sure you're going across at the same place. All right, I'm going to grab a sip of my drink again. Okay, so where's my book? We need to make the photo mats and the title mat and the variety mat. So what I'm going to do is we're going to cut the dark in the sample. It is a dark green that is matting the photo. So we're going to cut those photo mats, and they are going to be 3 3/4 inch squares. And I mentioned earlier that we have these 3 colors that match the collection. We have red, cranberry, and dark green. And I'm thinking about using making some of them in red and some of them in dark green. Since it's going to be going on both pages, I could do the, well, I gotta find the book to show you again. I could do the outside left-hand page and the outside right-hand page in red, and then the inside of both pages in the dark green. That's what I'm thinking right now. Or I could even go red, green, green, red, so opposites. So I'm going to cut these mats in both of these colors, and hopefully it will work out okay. And I still had some of that red sheet that I used earlier. And remember I said it needs to be 3 3/4. So I'm going to cut at 3 3/4, and this is a 12-inch strip. And I'll turn that piece that I just cut on its side. There's 1 3 3/4. Here's 2 at 3 3/4. And I'll need a total of 4. So that gives me 3, and I can do another one. I can save this strip for a title block or something to use on a different layout. So I'll need to do this at least one more time. And then I'll have to decide what I want to make the mat for the variety mat and the title block at too. So I'm going to leave this piece whole for now, and then this was left over, so I'll put this over in my scrap pile. And I'm going to make some in the dark green. Again, this is 3 3/4, and that way you can have 3.5-inch square photos that will look really nice on your page. I'll go ahead and cut a second one at 3 3/4. Trying to not talk your ears off. However, it's hard for me to not talk. I am a talker by nature, so if y'all get sick of hearing me, I'm very sorry. Okay, so I have 4 of each. Let's lay these out and let's see what we might want to do. This would come up here, that would be there, and here. I do like that I chose to do the various colors, and I'm going to decide in just a moment if I want to alternate them or not. Now remember, we're going to have a mat in the middle, a variety mat. So, and then our title, actually need to come down some. Our title is going to be coming across from here. Well, what I was thinking is that it's going to come across from here to here. It might not work for me to do that because of this gift punch being thicker. I may need to move the balloons up so that I can move the gifts up and then have more room to do my my title. So this one, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. I like that. Even for a happy birthday, Jesus. It's the most wonderful time of the year. I like that one. Merry Christmas. Obviously, that's it's already going to say happy birthday, Jesus, but I think it would be okay to say Merry Christmas as well. And I like the wish list for a couple of reasons. One is that you could do wishes like, you know, peace on earth. You could wish that cancer would be eradicated. You could write things like that that adults think of. Of course, you could also write one of your kids' wishes for their Christmas, or for their birthday or whatever, even though this is about celebrating a happy birthday Jesus party. This one, NOLA, the big easy, and then it says this happened. So they made they used a checklist as their mat, and that was one of the reasons I liked the options of using the wish list. But obviously I wouldn't use it on the left and on the right. I just wasn't sure which one I needed because I didn't know what colors I was going to go with, and that's why I pulled out both of those. Now these are a little more contemporary, I guess. The best time of the year, 'tis the season, and honestly, I like this one, but I don't like the color with the background color here. And I kind of feel the same way about the best time of the year. I feel like I would need to mat it in a different way. So I have to make a decision on, do I want to include a wish list on one side, or do I want both sides to have words? So it's easy to use these that are white background, and I'm supposed to have a title mat up here. Um, this balances it with both of them being like a white background. And really, my only other option would be if I did one in white, which I'd probably do this one, and then one with the red, or one with the candy cane and the wish list. Decisions, decisions, decisions. I'm looking at the screen so that I can see it better. And right now, I think I'm just gonna go. No, I'm not. I'm definitely gonna use a wish list one. And I'm also, I love the trees. The trees match the colors so well. So I'll save this. I might even be able to cut this out in a circle or something to use it as an embellishment somewhere on the page. So I'll save it and I'll stick with these two. And at that point, or because we're doing that, now I only need to cut my title mat to go above this. And it is going to be 4 inches by 3.5 inches. So let's see with our leftover scrap from earlier, what do I have? I have more than enough of either the green or the red from the piece that I cut off of. 4 by 3.5. So I'm gonna cut this. Actually, I don't have enough to make them both the same color, but I can still alternate, one page being one and one page being the other. So, or maybe, actually, I do have enough for both of them to be the same. Okay, so I'm going to cut both of these at 4 inches. It's going to leave me a tiny bit of a scrap. And because it is 3 3/4 instead of 3.5, I'm going to turn it and cut off a portion of that as well. It'll come above here, and that's really covering up that present there. Let me make this one down to 3.5 by 4 inches. And I know I'm gonna have to stop my video, and I'm gonna move my balloons up. I'm gonna move my gifts up, and then I'm gonna see, this will layer something like that. And then I just need to decide, do I want to alternate these photo mats like this? And that's what I wanted to decide before I get off of the video. Now, the great thing about this layout, with it being a double page spread, is that I'm now going to have 8 spaces for at least 8 photos. Obviously, if you covered up some of the decoration somewhere, or if you used one of these centerpieces, one of these center mats for a photo, you could have more, because this is going to be a title and I need to make my layer for with the title. So this is if I alternate, and this is if I don't. I'm leaning, gosh, I keep leaning both ways. Let's see here. I think it's a little more uniform if I keep them red on the outside, green on the inside. And I'm possibly going to make my top layer for this with a red background, or maybe not, because it needs to be more visible for the title. So I guess it'll be a white background. So here is where we are. I'm going to stop the video, and the picture that posts with this completed page will be a finished picture that shows, how I've come in and I've added my title, going from Happy Birthday Jesus is what I was thinking. And then you can add more embellishments if you want to, up in the corners at the top, or the corners bottom left, bottom right. Again, thank you for watching. One more thing. This is what I'm thinking about my balloons and stars. I can come in and take the candy cane pattern stars and occasionally pop one up on the balloon or the star. You see what I mean? So I won't do a tremendous amount of it, but I can do some of it, and then it'll give it some pizzazz and punch. And plus, when I move my balloons and stars up some, more of it's going to be onto that gold as well, so it won't look quite as busy as it did with the candy cane stripe being on that colorful plaid stripe. Last thing I want to show you is, in case you need my address again, my email address or my website, creativememories.com/user/KRISTIBOLIN. You can email me at KRISTIBOLIN@gmail.com. And if you want to join my weekly subscription group, I teach a class over Zoom every Wednesday evening at 7:30 Eastern. And so email me and ask me about Christie's Croppers subscription group. Thank y'all for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so that you can help me get to 500 subscribers. And I will see y'all next time.